Hello, it's Dawn here from Dawn's Inspirations. I said I would share some of the demos that I never got round to doing on the Create and Craft show the other day when I was on with the ScrapBerry's products, and this was another one of the demos that I had prepped, and this is a double easel card, beautifully made, and this is using the fairy tale collection. And when you lay the easels flat, it's great for popping in the post, and this will go into a DL size envelope. So as a lot of you know, here in the UK, postage is something we have to be really careful of, because as soon as things are too thick we end up paying huge amounts of postage. So this is a great little card that lays flat for postage but can be stood up when it's on a side and looks really nice and 3D. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. So I'll just pop this to one side. So I'm starting off this demo with a piece of cardstock. This is some Coordinations cardstock, and this is measuring 8 inches by 8 inches. So I've got an 8-inch square here, and then I've scored this. I've already pre-prepped this, but I will go through it with you. I've scored this at 4 inches down to 4 inches, and then a quarter turn, and I've scored at 4 inches again all the way down to the bottom. So on one side we've got the score line all the way through, and then on the other side we've got the score line just down to the bottom. And then what I've done is, with a ruler, bring a ruler in here, then with the ruler, or first of all with a pair of scissors, for a pair of scissors I've cut to the half line on just one side, and then with a ruler I've taken from the point that I've cut to the point at the edge, and then I've just gone along with my embossing tool again and embossed that, and I've done that on both sides. So the next thing I'm going to do is to burnish those. So I'm going to just fold those over and then burnish those with my bone folder. You can use any cardstock you like. I'm using the Coordinations cardstock here, but basil will work. You can cut down a piece of A4 cardstock because the size is 8 by 8, so you could use some A4 cardstock for this, so it's absolutely fine. So that is the look that we're looking for. Okay, and then we need to start building up the decorations. So as I say, I'm using the ScrapBerry's fairy tale collection here. So if you were lucky enough to get that from the Create and Craft show when I was on the ScrapBerry's, that's all well and good. And I've cut a piece of card here, and this is measuring, if I can just check my measurements so you know, this is measuring 3 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches, and the reason I've cut it that size is so it fits on the base, but I've got that 1/8 of an inch gap all the way round, so it just looks quite nice. And then I've used, I'll just bring my distress inks, I've used Stormy Sky here just to ink the edges. So I've gone around all the edges with the distress ink Stormy Sky, because I know many of you will ask. I've not done a big distress in, all I've done is take away that white just cut look, because personally that's something I don't like, so personal preference. So we can get that stuck down. I'm just using some Kalal all-purpose glue here for that, and I know a lot of my US ladies, you can now get that crafterscompanion.com. I've got that in stock, but it does sell out very quickly, so just bear that in mind. So just pop that onto there and let that dry. And then the next layer to build this up, to give it some more interest, is I've used the same piece of cardstock, because I cut this out of a piece of 12 by 12. This was a piece of the scrap, so to say, that I've used here, and I've run this through the embossing folder with the ScrapBerry's, this is the damask pattern embossing folder. These are lovely embossing folders. These are just over 6x4, so they're a good embossing folder. One hinge on them. I've actually embossed chipboard in them. I've gone through to vellum, which is very fine, so it takes very fine right through to very thick. And what I like about it is you get a real deep emboss. I mean, that's the emboss side, and then for this I've used the deboss side, but as you can see you get a real crisp deep emboss. I'm hoping the camera can pick that up. But even though this didn't fit, what I've done is I've put it through and then I've matched up my pattern halfway through, but I'm then going to put a banner along there so you won't see that at all. So that's the ScrapBerry's embossing folders. I must say they're really useful, and they'll go in any of the die cutting machines because they're smaller format, as they say. So I'm just wondering whether to use the emboss or the deboss side. I think actually we'll go for the emboss side. So I'll just pop the glue on the deboss side, but with the folders the deboss looks just as nice as the emboss, so which is absolutely great. And I'm just going to pop that on there to dry. And then on the cutter parts that you get in the paper collection, there's some borders, and I've just cut the flower border out here, just enough to match on there to bring a bit more interest. And I have already inked the edges of that. Yes, I have already inked the edges of that. So I'm going to go ahead again with my glue and stick that down. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because this is going to act as my stopper for the cards. Now this is the stopper that I've got for this card, and the stopper is the bit that's going to hold your easels from falling over. And again, this is one of the cutter parts from the collection. This fairy tale collection from ScrapBerry's is double-sided, which is great. The piece I've cut out here is measuring 2 1/4 inches by 3.5 inches, and the 12x12 papers are 180 GSM, which is good quality cards, sort of cardstock really, more than paper stock. And the 6x6 pad is 170 GSM, so they're good weight. Now I want to stick that down there, but before I stick that down I'm going to continue to decorate the top pieces so I can work on a flat surface. So what I'm going to do is to fold these flat, because then these are going to mirror each other. So from the 6x6 pad I picked this paper out, so I've used 2 pieces from the 6x6, and these are measuring 4 1/4 by 4 inches. So they're 4 1/4 by 4 inches. As I say, these are from the 6x6 pad, okay, and these are 170 GSM. So I'm going to have the 4 1/4 bit that way out. So I'm just checking my measurements. These need to go that way around, okay, but I'm not going to stick these on all of here. I only need to put glue on this part of the cardstock. This part on the cardstock. So let me just put the glue on here so you'll see exactly where the glue is going to go. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And then pop that down. Again, I've already inked these ready because this was part of the demo that I've got planned for Saturday. I've got some glue coming out of this. I'm just going to lay it down because this is Cal glue, and as you know, the Cal glue you can wipe away while it's still wet and it won't affect your work. If you leave it till it's dry you won't get it off. Okay, so that's one side. And then I'm going to do the same again with this one. So I'm just doing the glue on the one side. So bring this one in. And these cards are lovely because the fact they lay flat especially for UK postage, is really good. But it just gives a bit of a different look for your cards rather than having always flat cards. Okay, so they're both there. So when that pops up, they will then stand up like that. I think you can see that on the camera there. Okay, so the next thing I've done is I've got two of the ladies that I've cut out from the cutter parts, again from the paper collection. These are double-sided again, but I've cut these out, and then these can be ready to be matted and layered onto there. So we'll just pop some glue on here as well. So if you remember, when you're building these up, they need to face each other. That way around you won't get in a muddle. So that's glue all over that one. And we'll do the same with this one. This is a beautiful collection, and you don't have to think at all about what papers are going to go with which images, because that's all been done for you with this paper collection. You know, it's beautiful. It's just the fact that as long as you're using the papers out the paper collection, everything matches, so you don't have to think about it at all. So it takes all that hard work out for you. So that's my ladies down there. I'm going to pop some gems on there. These are the gems as well that you get in the collection from ScrapBerry's. You get 120 of the gems, and they come in the three different sizes. Sure, it's three sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes and 4 different colours. So it's, you know, they're really nice to use, really useful to use as well. So I'm just going to pop some of these on. So I like to work in odd numbers when I'm popping the gems on. So just going to put a big one on there, and then I'm going to go the next size down. Just put the next size down one there, and then we go put the next size down one there. I just like to work in odd numbers. It's a bit like florists, they do the same thing. Just makes things look nice to the eye. And I'm going to do the same with this one, but this time I'm going to put them on the bottom of this corner. So I've just picked these two toppers, but you can pick any toppers you wish really out of the collection. There's lots in there, and they are just so beautiful to work with. So if you've got this paper collection, you know, please do share some pictures on my Facebook page of cards and scrapbook layouts that you're going to make with this, because I'd love to see them. I've also cut a couple of the words out from the paper that you can, like the cut apart paper as I call it, and I've cut these down a little bit smaller in size to fit with the layout that I'm doing. And I've just got some double-sided foam on these just to give a little bit of dimension. Now, as I say, if you're worried about postage and you don't want to pay the extra postage, you can just stick them flat. The fact you've layered them up will also give that illusion of dimension without being dimensional. But I'm putting these on foam for this purpose because I think they look nice. And then we'll just put this one along there, and then just to finish that off, I'm just going to pop a gem in each of the corners. And I think I'm going to go for a green one this time for a bit of contrast. Where's that one gone to? It's on my thumb. And I'm just popping one gem down. In fact, we'll pop that one in that corner. Like that over a little bit more. There, and then I'm going to put another one. They're alive today, my gems. On there, and then while I've got it laying flat, I'm going to use some glitter glue, or you can use some stickles, anything you like really, just to pick some of the elements up in the paper. These scrapbook papers aren't all glittered and embossed, but this doesn't mean that you can't do it with your glitter glues, your stickles, your embossing folders. This is where you can use what you've got in your crafty stash to make the papers stand out even more. So some people don't like it too glittery, and that's exactly fine. You know, you can now craft to your own style by using elements in this paper collection. Now all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of sparkle to the flowers and to the flowers that are in the lady's hair, just to give a bit of interest when you open it. So just not too much, just a little shimmer if you like. I'm going to give a little bit down there, I think, as well. So it's just a little bit of glitter there, if you can see that. Okay, and now we need to put our stopper on. So I'm just going to stand that up there like that while I put my stopper on. So this is the stopper I picked, told you the measurements of that, and I'm using some large foam pads to stick this down. You can use some 3D gel as well, that's absolutely fine, it's personal choice. I've inked all around my edges, and I'm just going to try and get that in the centre. I'm going to go over just a little bit, bring that in, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on her as well. I just stand that on there to keep that in place, while I just put some glitter on her as well, because she's got some nice beads just round her head, and I think they're crying out for a little bit of glitter just to make them stand out. Put some of these round her neck because she's got some lovely long beaded necklaces, so I'm just bringing a bit of that in there, so not too much. And then it says on there once upon a time, so what I'm going to do, I've got 3 little dots there. I'm going to use 3 tiny little gems. This is the sort of beige colour I would call this, just to accent the stopper. So I've got some gems on the stopper to match the top of the card. Press those down, and that's our card done. So this is a double easel card using the ScrapBerry's fairy tale collection. Still a bit wet, so I'm a bit concerned about showing you how it folds flat. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll bring in the one that's dry. It might be best to show you. Let me bring the one in that's dry. So this is your card when it's stood up. I'm just going to leave that to stand because it's still wet. So it's flat for you to pop in your post, which is great, but then it also stands up as a double easel, showing the lovely images there, and then you can write your greeting on the inside of the card. So that's a double easel card using the ScrapBerry's fairy tale collection. I think it's a lovely collection to use. I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations. If you'd like to sign up to my website for my newsletter or Facebook page, or go over to my YouTube channel and sign up, every time I release a video or anything new going on, you'll get to hear about it straight away, so you don't miss out on anything that's happening. So please do, because there's lots of nice things that are happening and coming up. The Facebook page is a great place. You know, if you've got this collection and made some cards, I'd love to see what you've all been making with them, because it's a perfect collection to play with. And the Facebook page is a great place to do that, and my crafty ladies from all over the world love to see what people have been doing with products that I've been using. So please feel free to share, it'd be lovely to see them. So I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy too making a double easel card. Bye bye for now.